Have you ever stood in front of the mirror, lifted your arm, and thought, where did all my strength go? Like your body just quietly packed up and walked away while you were busy living life. You're not alone, my friend. That slow loss of muscle, the little struggle when you stand from your favorite chair or carry the groceries, that's something many of us over 60 feel deep in our bones. But let me tell you a little secret. I met a man named Harold, not a bodybuilder, not an athlete, just a regular guy like you and me. And at 85 years old, Harold started gaining muscle again. No gym membership, no magic pills, just food. Real food, the kind your grandmother would have cooked over a slow fire and served with love. And that got me thinking, what if we've been underestimating the power of what's on our plate? In this conversation, I want to walk you through the very foods that helped Harold, and so many others reclaim strength, energy, and confidence in their golden years. These aren't exotic or expensive. In fact, they might already be sitting in your kitchen, just waiting for you to unlock their power. This isn't about eating less. It's about eating smarter, feeding the muscles, and honoring the body that's carried you through decades. Let's start with the first one, and it's a quiet champion, eggs. Now I know, some folks get nervous about cholesterol, and we've been told all sorts of things over the years. But here's the deal. When it comes to building muscle after 60, eggs are like nature's little protein bombs. That yolk, it's not just tasty. It's packed with vitamin D, healthy fats, and something called leucine, which your muscles adore. Leucine is like the spark that tells your body, hey, it's time to build. And the best part, you don't need a dozen. Just 2 eggs in the morning, scrambled in a little olive oil or boiled with some herbs, can gently wake up your muscles and start the repair process. Add a slice of whole grain toast or a few cherry tomatoes, and you're not just eating breakfast, you're feeding strength. But it doesn't stop there. Let's talk about another powerhouse that people often overlook, Greek yogurt. Now, I'm not talking about that sugary dessert-like stuff in plastic cups. I mean plain, thick, rich Greek yogurt, the kind that feels almost sinful when it hits your tongue. It's loaded with casein, digesting protein that helps maintain muscle overnight while you sleep. Think about that, your body quietly building and repairing itself just because you enjoyed a bowl of yogurt in the evening. Try it with a few crushed walnuts, a drizzle of honey, maybe some blueberries on top, and you've got a bedtime snack that's as comforting as a hug and as powerful as a workout. You see, at our age, muscle loss isn't just about getting weaker. It's about losing freedom, the ability to walk without pain, to reach that top shelf, to hug your grandkids tight and pick up your dog when he gets a little too playful. And the good news, food can bring that strength back. Now, let me tell you about a food that's been called the meat of the field. Ever heard of lentils? Lentils are humble, sure, but don't let that fool you. They are packed with plant-based protein, iron, and fiber. And iron, especially for those of us past 60, is key. It helps oxygen move through the blood, giving your muscles the fuel they need to function. I like to think of it like this. Lentils are like tiny fuel tanks that fill up your body with power. And if you're thinking, I don't know how to cook those things, don't worry. A simple lentil soup, seasoned with garlic, turmeric, and a touch of salt, is all it takes. One bowl, once or twice a week, can begin to shift the needle on your strength. These aren't just meals. They're messages to your body that say, I'm not done yet. There's a quiet strength that comes with age, a resilience you don't find in youth, but that strength still needs nourishment, it needs fuel. And the older we get, the more important it becomes to be intentional because our bodies aren't as forgiving as they once were. They demand quality. Now that we've brought eggs, yogurt, and lentils into the spotlight, you might already be imagining ways to sneak them into your day. Maybe eggs at breakfast, yogurt as a nighttime ritual, lentils in a warm stew on a rainy afternoon. These aren't diet foods. They're soul foods, meals that feel like home while building you from the inside out. But we're just getting started. There are a few more gems in the pantry, foods that may not be flashy but have real power, especially for us who know what it means to walk a little slower, feel a little stiffer, and yet still wake up every morning with hope in our hearts. So take a breath, stretch those arms, maybe even stand up tall if you're sitting, and feel that body you've lived in for all these years. It's still yours, and yes, it can still grow stronger. You know, sometimes I think we forget just how forgiving the body can be. Even after decades of wear and tear, it still responds if we give it the right kind of love. And that love, it often starts in the kitchen, not in a pill bottle. You've already got eggs, Greek yogurt, and lentils making their quiet comeback on your plate. But now it's time to meet the unsung hero of strength, salmon. Oh yes, that pink, tender, melting your mouth kind of fish. Salmon isn't just a pretty face on a dinner plate. It's loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, and here's the thing. Omega-3s are like tiny repairmen that calm inflammation and help rebuild muscle tissue, especially when you've been a bit stiff or sore. And the protein, oh, it's the good stuff. The kind your body can actually use, not just digest and forget. I remember one gentleman telling me he started eating grilled salmon twice a week. Nothing fancy, just a little lemon, some herbs, a few steamed vegetables. And within weeks, he said his knees didn't creak as loudly, and he could walk longer without needing to catch his breath. That's the thing, sometimes the answer isn't more effort. It's smarter fuel, and if salmon's not your thing, don't worry. Sardines, trout, even canned tuna and olive oil can bring similar benefits. We're not chasing perfection here. We're chasing progress one forkful at a time. Now let's step into something earthy, humble, and wildly powerful, spinach. Now, I know what you're thinking. What am I, Popeye? But hold on. Spinach isn't just about muscles in cartoons. It's packed with magnesium, potassium, and iron, 3 minerals that older adults are often low in. These aren't just nice to have. These are essential for helping your muscles contract, repair, and recover. Ever feel those nighttime leg cramps? That twitching that wakes you up just when you finally get comfortable. A lack of magnesium might be behind it. Add a handful of spinach to your omelet, toss some into a soup, or saute it with garlic and olive oil for a side dish that doesn't just sit pretty, it works for you. And while we're talking about green, let me slide in a surprise contender, avocados. Creamy, dreamy, and often misunderstood. Avocados aren't just for trendy toast. They're a rich source of healthy fats and potassium. More than bananas, actually. And why does that matter? Because potassium keeps your muscles hydrated and flexible. And let's be honest, flexibility over 60 is the difference between moving confidently and wincing every time you tie your shoes. I once told a woman in her late 70s to add half an avocado to her lunch, maybe on top of a salad or beside her soup. A month later, she told me her balance improved. Her hands stopped cramping, and she just felt steadier. That's no accident. That's nutrition doing its job. Now, I know some of these foods might feel new or unfamiliar, or maybe you haven't cooked them in years, and that's okay. No one's asking you to flip your whole life upside down. You don't need to be a chef or follow strict rules. Just a few changes here and there: eggs at breakfast, spinach in your dinner, Greek yogurt at night. Little shifts that stack up into something powerful. Because here's what no one tells you about aging. You're still in control. Maybe not of everything, those knees might talk back now and then, your eyesight might play tricks, but what you eat, that's yours. That's your quiet rebellion against weakness. That's your message to the world that you're still here, still strong, and still growing. And don't let anyone tell you you're too old to build muscle. That's a myth that needs to be tossed out with the expired canned beans. Muscle doesn't care how many birthdays you've had. It only cares if you're feeding it what it needs. So whether you're cooking for yourself, with a spouse, or even sharing meals with grandkids, bring these foods to the table like old friends. Let them do what they were made to do: restore, rebuild, and renew you from the inside out. Because your story isn't finished. Not by a long shot, and your strength, it's still waiting to be discovered, one bite at a time. There's something sacred about the way our bodies respond when we start feeding them with care again. It's like an old tree being watered after a dry season. It doesn't explode with blossoms overnight, but quietly, subtly it begins to bloom. You've already got eggs in your mornings, Greek yogurt in the evenings, salmon on your plate, spinach on the side, and maybe even an avocado slipping into lunch. But let me tell you about a simple, often overlooked food that punches way above its weight: beans. Yes, beans, kidney, black, navy, chickpeas, whichever you prefer. They're full of fiber and protein, but more than that, they provide a kind of slow, sustained energy that your muscles love. Beans keep your blood sugar steady, your digestion moving, and your muscles fueled for the long game. I knew an older gentleman name was Lewis, who said he started adding black beans to his meals just twice a week. His favorite dish: warm black beans with garlic, cumin, a squeeze of lime, and a spoon of olive oil. He told me, "I don't know what it is, but I just feel less tired now." That's not magic, it's minerals and muscle, building power right from the earth. But now let's talk about something a little sweeter, something you might have thought you had to give up. Because our final food might just be the most delicious of all: dark chocolate. Yes, friend, real dark chocolate, at least 70% cocoa or higher, isn't just a treat. It's rich in magnesium and antioxidants that help reduce inflammation and improve blood flow to your muscles and brain. That's right, chocolate that builds strength and keeps your mind sharp. Sign me up, and no, you don't need a whole bar. Just a small square a few times a week, maybe after lunch or with a cup of tea. Let it melt in your mouth slowly, don't rush it. Because at our age, we've earned the right to savor things. These 7 foods: eggs, Greek yogurt, lentils, salmon, spinach, avocados, beans, and yes, even a little chocolate aren't just ingredients. They're invitations. They say, come back, be strong again, live wide awake. And here's the real truth, the part no one says out loud: it's not too late. I don't care if you're 60, 70, 85 like Harold, or anywhere in between. You can still build strength. You can still rise from that chair with a little more ease, carry your grandchild a little longer, stand up a little taller in front of the mirror and whisper, "I'm coming back." We're not chasing 6-pack abs or lifting weights like we're 25 again. No, we're building functional strength. The kind that lets you garden for an hour without back pain. The kind that helps you sleep deeper, wake up steadier, and move with purpose. The kind that says, this body still has work to do. It starts with small decisions, choosing the foods that fight for you instead of against you. Turning down the processed snacks and reaching for something whole, cooking at home when you can, drinking water, taking a walk after lunch, lifting a small weight or even a can of soup while you watch TV. These small things, they add up. They always do, and yes, there'll be days you're tired, days your knees ache, your shoulders complain, and it feels like too much. But you've already lived through hard times. You've made it through heartbreak, illness, loss, long nights, and uncertain mornings. You've proven your strength in 1,000 invisible ways. Now, it's just about showing your body that it still matters. Your muscles aren't gone, they're waiting, waiting to be fed, to be used, to come alive again. So here's what I want you to remember. You are not past your prime. You are in a new prime, a wiser one, a deeper one, a phase where every choice matters more, and every improvement means more. You've earned the right to feel strong again. You've earned the right to nourish yourself well. And you've earned the right to believe that it's not over, not by a long shot. So go ahead, boil those eggs, stir that soup, grill that salmon, slice that avocado, and maybe, just maybe, break off a square of dark chocolate and toast to your health, your strength, your story. Here's to the next chapter, one filled with movement, laughter, warm meals, and the quiet confidence of knowing, I'm not fading, I'm just getting started. You know, when I started paying attention to stories like Harold's, the man who gained muscle at 85, it struck me how much possibility we leave sitting on the table. So many people past 60 get told to slow down, to shrink their lives, to accept aches and weakness like it's a life sentence. But what if the problem isn't aging itself? It's what we've been told aging means. Harold didn't become strong again by accident. He didn't lift like a bodybuilder or follow a strict routine. He simply fed his body what it had been asking for, real food. Powerful food, the kind that heals from the inside out, and then he moved, slowly at first, a short walk, a few stretches, some light lifting, but over time it added up, and that's the beautiful part. Small things become big things when you do them often enough. You may not feel strong yet. You may not even know where to start. That's okay. Just start where you are. Open the fridge and reach for the eggs instead of the cereal. Pick the yogurt instead of the cake. Add a handful of spinach to your soup and sprinkle some beans on your salad. Keep salmon on your grocery list and let dark chocolate be your well-earned nightly reward. Let your meals remind you you are rebuilding. Reclaiming muscle is not just about arms and legs. It's about freedom. The freedom to climb stairs without fear, to lift your groceries, to play on the floor with your grandkids, to get up from a low couch without needing a hand. These little freedoms, they're everything, and they're still within your reach. But let's be honest, there will be people who doubt you. Even you might doubt yourself some days. You'll feel sore. You'll wonder if it's worth the effort. But I promise you, your future self is already whispering thank you. And here's the trick no one talks about. Your body wants to heal. It's waiting for the signal, and every forkful of strength food you give it. That's a signal. That's your I'm not giving up letter to your bones, your muscles, your heart. So when the world gets quiet in the evening and you're sitting alone with your thoughts, I want you to remember this. You still have time, not to become someone else, but to become your strongest, truest self again. Maybe your goal isn't six-pack abs or running marathons. Maybe it's just walking to the mailbox without holding the railing, or carrying a bag of rice without pausing for breath, or sleeping through the night without pain waking you. That's strength. That's victory, and you deserve every ounce of it. You've given years to raising families, working hard, caring for others. Now it's time to care for yourself, with purpose, with hope, with food that fills your plate and your future with light. So let this be your declaration. I'm choosing life. I'm choosing strength. I'm choosing the foods that make me feel powerful again. No matter my age, no matter my past, I'm choosing me. And if you're feeling inspired, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What change are you making today? What food are you adding to your plate? Or maybe, what's the one thing that's been holding you back? Let's be honest. Let's be vulnerable. Let's grow strong together. This little community we're building. It matters. You matter. So please, if this video touched you, give it a like. Subscribe if you haven't. Share it with someone who needs to hear that their best chapter might still be ahead. Because trust me, it is. And until next time, here's to you, to your meals, to your strength, to your life, well fed, well lived, and fully yours. You've got this.